Greatness isn't an action, it's a continuous mindset. No team better exemplifies this than the Lakers. Despite having King James and Anthony Davis, the Lakers did not go into last season as the clear-cut favorites to win the title. The contender field itself was more crowded than it has been for the past 5 to 7 years. And the most common issue seen with this team was their lack of bench depth. Teams such as the Clippers and Bucks were seen to have comparable star power and a far superior rotation. Even with all of this, the Lakers managed to get Banner 17 by putting together an assorted cast of veteran defensive-minded players who all had something to prove. With this squad, they stonewalled, overpowered, and straight up bullied their way through the postseason. Gentlemen sweeping all but one series, and with this team being led by a man who's chasing GOAT-shaped shadows, we all knew they would go just as hard for the repeat, despite the short duration of their offseason. Though this task would prove difficult, as multiple of their core role guys were slated to hit free agency, but somehow, someway, LeGm and Robbie P managed to finesse themselves into a roster situation arguably greater than the season before. In this video, we'll be examining just how the Lakers managed to win this free agency. But before we get started, a quick message to the new viewers. This channel is a growing community with an emphasis on discussion. We are currently on the road to 1K to get monetized, and if you want to be a part of that 1K club, just subscribe. But without further ado, let's just hop right into the video. Now, the partnership between Rondo and LeBron is understated. Two of the greatest basketball minds who simply see the game differently. Rondo's presence was valued on and off the court. On the court, he was exactly what the Lakers needed. A secondary floor general who can keep the Maserati of an offense flowing in pristine form as LeBron rests. He wasn't too insane in the regular season, but in the postseason, the legend of playoff Rondo was cemented. He added another gear to the speed of the offense without losing efficiency, and made defenders pay time and time again for disrespecting his range, which further opened the game up for his teammates. As much as the Lakers would have liked to keep him, his performance and experience was bound to attract teams with more cap space. The Lakers, knowing this, preemptively traded Brick Machine Green and a pick that would later become Jaden McDaniels to the Thunder for Dennis Schroeder. As previously stated, Rondo showed that the Lakers were close to unbeatable when they had a second off-the-dribble threat besides LeBron. Schroeder should help Davis a lot more than the regular season version of Rondo, giving him a guard who can pressure the rim as a scorer out of pick and rolls, capably bring the ball up the floor, create plays, and run out with him in transition to find him on lob. And while the mid-range game has been an increasingly archaic art form, the postseason has shown time and time again that being able to hit the shots defenses want to concede is a valuable skill. As a player who hit 48% of his 243 mid-range looks, Schroeder gives the Lakers a player who can both get to the rim and leverage the mid-range pull-up, adding a sense of dynamism to that Lakers offense. The Lakers won't be missing much on the defensive end either with this swap. Now, I'm serious when I say this. Danny Green is a good 3-point shooter. Yes, his 3-point percentage fell off a cliff in the postseason, but y'all are missing the bigger picture, for real. That's simply because he sacrificed his stats to help out with the home shortage in LA. Bricks aren't cheap these days. But on a serious note, Green still has immense value as a 3-point marksman and gives his teams great defensive value. That much is evidence as the Lakers still managed to ship him out for Schroeder. The Lakers instantly filled this void by grabbing Wes Matthews, a veteran 3-and-D guy. Through his near 25 minutes per game, Matthews averaged 7 points, shooting a fairly efficient 36 from deep. He proves to be a seamless plug offensively and happens to offer just as much on the defensive side of the floor as Green, if not more. The Bucks posted a defensive rating of 98.3 with Matthews on the floor last season, second only to Giannis Antetokounmpo. And unlike Danny Green, Matthews has the ability to be a tertiary ball handler, further taking the pressure off LeBron. Howard and McGee were the twin tower base of their suffocating defensive identity, adding energy and paint protection whenever called on. They both were very serviceable to the Lakers and a key part of their success. In my last video, I mentioned that despite the pluses they bring to the team, they hampers the team's overall spacing and did not have the ability to create any form of offense whatsoever. I threw out the possibility of upgrading from them to an Ibaka or a Gasol, and the Lakers did just that. Now obviously, Harrell is not Ibaka, but as the reigning sixth man of the year, he brings even more energy on the boards and can create for himself around the post. He gives LeBron another premier pick and roll partner, as he ranked 12th in points scored off the pick and roll. With Harrell, the only real concern was his defense. He laid a fat egg in last year's postseason, especially against Jokic and the Nuggets. The reason things will be different on the other side of town is the presence of Anthony Davis. On the Clippers, Harrell was their primary anchor. They needed him to guard the opposing team's best post player. On the Lakers, he'll be working alongside defensive stalwarts in AD and Gasol. He won't be forced to be something he's not, that being a physical post defender, allowing him to focus on simply providing athletic help defense and making hustle plays on both ends of the court. Harrell will fit in near perfectly on the offensive end with the limited responsibility of setting screens, grabbing boards, catching lobs, and will be free to fly around the court making hustle plays on the defensive end. And Gasol might low-key end up being their best addition in this offseason. In Gasol, they get a through and through veteran student of the game. While he does not possess the athleticism of his Defensive Player of the Year campaign, he still has the mind. He's downright elite when it comes to defensive positioning. Despite his limited mobility, he is able to employ all of the different pick and roll defenses. He has that LeBron-esque old man strength to cover players Harrell would struggle with, and is another floor general who can help organize the defense along with the coach. On the offensive end, he effectively spaces the floor and is an elite passer, adding another dimension to the Lakers offense, being able to make passes from the low and high post. With Gasol, they'll be able to keep both the starting lineups and bench rotations humming along nicely. LeGm and Robbie P back at it again, somehow making an even better team than their championship edition. This season is going to be very exciting with so many contenders and so much parity throughout the league. But in this free agency, the rich only got richer and the Lakers are ready to repeat. That is all I have for y'all today. If you like this video, make sure to like this video. One thing that is not negotiable though is comment down something below and let's get a very good discussion going. Until next time, stay safe and peace out.